Grand Rising. I forgot about this video. I forgot all about it. And just been chilling. I have 2 more days until school starts. So today and tomorrow I'm about to be busy, I guess. Oh, excuse me. So last night, as I was about to go to bed, because I've been going to bed early and waking up super early lately. I've been going to bed at like 7, 8 o'clock. So just trying to get back into sleep schedules for school. But I heard a reading. One, I have shaded readers before. I wasn't shading you though. I promise you I was not. I was shading someone else. She's in that 15. There's 15 readers. You're not one of them. You're not in that list. And maybe you are one of them and I just didn't notice you because I've only started watching you in the last month because you're in my algorithm. You are here in my algorithm. But I've spoken on jealousy before. One of the major things that's in my algorithm right now is mom and sister duo. Mom and sister duo. Mom and sister duo. And I remember it brings me back to that dream I had about my sister and my mother watching me and not doing anything to help. So I would like to speak on that because as I stated recently, I know you guys are watching. And what I heard in one particular reading was much different from the rest. And that's the one I'm going to use for reference. I have mentioned before that I had to take care of my siblings while my parents went out and lived their life. And for me, not understanding at the time how much that affected me emotionally, but if my sister believes that she owes me something for that, that would never be. The only thing that you owe me for that is understanding. Because no, I did not have a childhood. And I've been trying to explain to you that a lot of the choices that I made in my youth are a direct result of that neglect. And that neglect went on our whole lives. You remember the time when you went to the hospital because you wouldn't remember. You and your sister, your twin, you went to the hospital because you had drank Tylenol. You had to be like 2, 3 years old, which would have made me 5. But I know it was before school because I wasn't going to school yet. And I got in trouble for that because she was taking a nap. You almost died. And somehow that's my fault. And I'm a 5-year-old. Do you not understand? I'm just asking for your understanding. Made me very afraid of making mistakes. Because every time I make a mistake, somehow it's my fault. And actually, this is what I'm dealing with Aaron right now. And then I do make mistakes with no understanding. Me and you did not get the same parenting. A lot of people do not seem to understand that. I've been trying to explain this to you for a long time. You got a parent, kind of, because it was me. And she was there, but that door was always locked. You know? Weren't we calling? We were calling people all the fucking time. Dad, mom, Asia, Ashley, Ariel did something. They're fighting. We had no parents. They were there, but they weren't there. They were not present. You know, I was required to be present. And if I wasn't present, I was in trouble. Their job was to be present. And you're not understanding how that's traumatizing to a person, how that can affect their ability to make decisions, because it's emotional rape, which is the whole context of this channel. Okay? You see your parents in a different light than I see your parents. Our brother sees our parents in a different light than I see your parents, because they're yours. You know what I'm saying? I said at the beginning of this channel, like, I still call them mother and father, but they are not my mother and father. You know what I'm saying? They didn't mother or father me properly. And they did it on purpose because they were doing other things that you know nothing about, because they choose which children they're going to do this to. Then they separate them and they make them hate each other. But I don't hate any of you. This entire time, I remember that time when one of you put a letter under my door that you hate me. You broke my shit. I got mad. And then you wrote me a letter telling me you hate me. And I wrote a letter back, I love you. And you hated me for it. You hated me for it. You know, you hate me because I'm the scapegoat. I was the one that wasn't watching and you drank Tylenol. I was the one that wasn't watching and you fell off, the picnic table and busted your teeth out and didn't grow your front teeth till you're 11. I was the one that was in trouble when you scratched your face off. Everything's my fault. So you've been hating me your whole life, thinking I hate you or something, when I'm a kid. I'm not supposed to be watching you. I'm not in charge of you. I'm not mad because I had to take care of you. I'm not mad about that. I'm mad that you're not understanding. You don't owe me nothing. The only people that owed us something was them. You now just owe me understanding. Hey, Ashley, the shit that went down with you was not your fault. What went down with us was not your fault. I got hurt, it wasn't your fault. We were fighting and nobody was there to protect us, not our fault. Mom out on a trip, dad out on a trip, and we all alone, not my fault. Not yours either. I've never, like this entire channel, I have given you grace for most of the channel because I understand we're brainwashed. You know? I understand it, but you seem to not. I know that you think these things. I know you think them because when you gave birth to your daughter, I was so proud. And I had to make it a point to make sure that no one could ever tell you that I was jealous of you for how your life went. I am so proud. If I would have gotten some of the teachings that you got, see, I didn't get a sex talk. You got a sex talk. And the only reason you got a sex talk is because I told them to tell you. Because I didn't want you to stumble upon the things that I found out. I wanted you to have the knowledge so that you can make better choices. See, because when nobody told me about it and I'm learning from my friends, things happen. I made a different choice from you because we didn't get the same parenting. And I intervened because I recognized that. at 16, 17, 18 years old. The choices I made have nothing to do with you. And I don't dislike you because you made a different choice either. I'm happy that I was able to protect you from the things that I had to go through. And then even then, I still didn't protect you. Because then y'all was mad at me because boys was coming at you thinking you were like me, when the only reason I was like that is because I didn't have the knowledge you had. So-and-so came up to me and said, well, I sucked their dick. I remember that conversation. It's all your fault. No, it's mom and dad's fault because they did not protect me. They did not teach me anything, and they had to not teach me anything in order to do what they've been doing all these years. They try to convince you that we've got the same training when we did not. They try to convince you, oh, boy got the same training. He definitely didn't. She was 15, come on. What did she know? Not much more than me or you, you know? Then you sit here and you judge me. Like, one time mom said some shit. See, she said some shit about something she's been doing. And when she was my age, she was just coming upon that in her own life. She was only just coming upon not smoking and not drinking at my age. Like, the expectation of me to be better than her, and she is much older, is weird. It's weird, and you're not clocking it. You're not clocking it. You haven't been clocking it. It's been going on since I was a 5-year-old girl that I'm supposed to be more responsible than her somehow. That just don't make no sense. And it's been this way. You give me no knowledge, and I'm supposed to somehow just be better than you. Well, okay, we'll try. You know, but myself, if you really believe that, I am jealous of you because you made better choices. It's really unfortunate that you would ever think that, because all I could ever be is proud. I helped, you know, but you don't know. You don't know. You don't know that the day that you got the sex talk is because I overheard your friends talking about sex, and knowing that they would lead you down a path because we all had no knowledge. We're just bouncing knowledge, children bouncing knowledge off of children, you know. While your friends were still there, both of our parents just happened to be there that day, which was rare during the week. And I got them and I said, hey, I hear them over there talking about sex. You need to talk to them about sex. I was involved in your sex talk. I'm the reason that you made better choices than I did. So I couldn't be jealous. I could only be proud. But, you know, we all have our different perspectives of what went on when we were raised. I'm older than you, so I have a little more memories than you. Different experiences too, like when I bring up the CSA, y'all had y'all's own room on the other side of the house. So you were never involved in that either. The children involved in that are closer to my age than yours because y'all are the babies. Y'all are the babies. I'm next to y'all, but there's 2 in between that. So I'm like 5th in line, right? All of them, all of us, we were in my room because I was their age. And some of the older ones that really shouldn't have been in there. You know, looking back on it like, ooh, see, that might have been an issue, you know. But some of this stuff, I'm not saying everything that would happen ever was malicious either. Like, having all of those kids in that same room, I don't think any adult was thinking that, you know, something would happen like that. You know, I don't think they were maliciously putting us all together in the same room, hoping that we were assaulting each other, you know. And I don't think they really thought on it. Like, only in the last couple of years have they changed the laws to, you know, so even siblings can't be in the same room now, you know, after a certain age. that's only the progression of knowledge. It's only, I can't be mad at anybody that happened, because I'm sure in 1993 to 1997, none of those people had any idea, you know, about any of this shit. So I'm speaking on that. This video was supposed to be about something else. It was scheduled a couple days ago, but I heard that was one of the last readings I heard last night, and I know it to be true. Now, in terms of the other sibling, though, she probably definitely is. And in fact, I want you to think back. Think back to when you got a raise. You got a raise somewhere, and I can't remember what it was for. But I remember you saying to me that I was like the only one that didn't expect anything of you because you got this raise. You know, other sister calls, she wants something. Other, dad wants something. Man, we ain't even gonna get into that. That dude wants something from everybody. We all owe him for raising us. Nobody asked you to adopt us, bro. Nobody asked you to adopt us. And then, be an absent parent most of the time. Yes, you were a provider, but I don't think that you ever did anything to them. And that's why they ride so hard for you, you know. But, yeah. I was the one that you said I didn't expect anything. So, thinking that, I know that you think that I'm jealous of you. I know it. And I'm not. I have a different path, and my path was lived, and especially on the other side of knowing what that is. Like, if there was ever even an inkling, but there never was, you know. I'm glad that you got to live your life. I'm glad that you made better choices. I'm glad that you got to do certain things. What I'm not glad about is you acting like you were more of someone that was there for me than what you were. You did watch my children. But again, text messages, months would go by. And then sometimes there would be an emergency, so you get them, and then I'd ask you to keep them the next weekend, and then you call that watching them every weekend. Like, you only watched them because there was an emergency, and you absolutely had to watch them. Then maybe the next weekend it's like, please, I didn't get to do anything. I was doing that emergency. Please watch them. Like, I had to beg people to watch the kids. When I lived with my cousin, they would watch the kids, but they weren't watching the kids. Like, I would come back with, to the point where you just don't want them to watch them. Do you understand? Like, kids you're coming back and your kid's diaper is absolutely ridiculously full. They haven't eaten, shit like that. Or when one of the kids got older, okay, my cousin's daughter was a teenager. Her child would watch my kids. Her child, not like the adult. They were just in their house. So to say like, oh, I watched your kid. No, they were in your house and your kid was watching my kid and your child was compensated. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. All that acting like you were doing more for me than you actually were. Natanya picked up on it immediately because as soon as I left, you were there all the time and helping her out. And she's like, she never helped you like that. Stuff like, and some of it I can't even be mad about. Like, I've even mentioned it to you. I said, you've definitely helped with Natanya more than when you helped with me. And one, your lifestyle was a little bit different too. You know what I'm saying? Your schedule wasn't as flexible, things like that. So I couldn't be mad about that. But, things like picking up my child, dropping them off with you at 6 and picking them up at 8 in the morning isn't really, it wasn't enough to replenish. I still had to get up in the morning to get them. Now you keep them days at a time, whereas before that wasn't a thing. And you did what you could, you know what I'm saying? But acting like you had them every weekend, you had them all the time, just wasn't the truth. It never was the truth. And so when you tell these little things, to make it seem like I had higher expectations for you or that you did above and beyond for me, and then sit and act like you don't, when I'm telling you, hey, I made some of these choices because of X, Y, Z, A, B, and C. I just wanted your understanding. I didn't think that you owed me anything. There is no entitlement here. I just want to be understood. That is love. You know what I'm saying? Being understood is such a high vibration of love. And if someone's never been understood, then they would never feel loved. I understand you quite well. I've never been jealous of your possessions. I've never been jealous of your job. In fact, my main primary complaint is the fact that you want me to do certain things. Like, you'll cut me off at the legs and then tell me to walk. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you asked for my help. This is what I want to do. And it's going to hurt you and damage you, but you should be able to get to my level. No, that's, I have never been bothered with being on a different level than someone because I know where I'm coming from. Like, if I've struggled to keep a job, I would never be upset with someone who worked their way up somewhere. That would never be a thing. Because if I struggled, then I can't expect to have the same things. But if I'm trying to get there and I'm repeatedly asking for help to get there, and then you tell me you helped me when you didn't, you literally cut my legs off. You cut my legs off. That's what the whole analogy starting is, someone cutting your legs and asking you why you're not healing, and they're like literally still sawing and you're bleeding profusely as they cut each vessel, and they're like, why aren't you healing? Why aren't you at my level? Why aren't you what? That's all this is. That's all that is. And to the reader that did this reading, beautiful reading. Like I said, in the beginning, I shade readers. Otherwise, there's other readers that when I watch them and I hear something, I expand on it. If I hear something and I know it's one of these people that keep trying to come for me, why would I leave a comment? Instead, I could just make a video that's getting shadow banned and eventually make me money, you know? I already watched the video and made you some money. Let me make some money. That's why I make videos about it instead of leaving a comment, because especially because I'm very long-winded. This is a 23-minute video that really could have been 6 minutes. I'm very long-winded. I like to write. I like to, like I can't do a comment and make it short unless it's like something that really is short. If it's something that can really be elaborated on, ooh, yeah, there's a word for it. There's a word for it. But I'm lengthy and long-winded, and I'm aware of it. And so I don't often leave comments. In fact, I think that's why some readers thought that I was attacking them or speaking on them, because when I write a comment, it's all long and lengthy, and sometimes I was, but those are the ones I'm telling you, okay? This is highly unusual, but there were readers that were attacking me, okay? I don't think it was you. So you don't need to be on the defense. I wasn't, there was someone I was talking about, and I actually did probably talk about you both in the same video. I do that on purpose, though, sometimes. Like, if I don't, you know, because you hollered when I didn't actually do anything to you. So that lets me know that you also have guilt. Right? You had said something about me saying something all the time makes me look guilty. I am guilty. I don't live in guilt, but I've done something wrong. And I'm coming to tell you it's called It's MK Ultra. It's subtle mind control. Some of the things that I was doing was definitely subtle mind control. Looking back on it and seeing how many times I was manipulated and what that manipulation led to and what behavior I experienced as a result. Yes, we are in control. We are supposed to be in control. You have to first learn about the mind control, which a lot of people are still living under. Emotional incest, covert emotional incest, both of them alike are subtle mind control. And that is what MK Ultra is. And there was one more thing, I think. Yeah. Okay, did I check? You've only been in my algorithm for like when this, when this, when I started talking about me leaving G is when you popped into my algorithm. So up until this point, I never spoke about you, and when I spoke about you, I wasn't really speaking negatively. Your laughter was in my dream. I had a dream. It was specifically involving this man, and your laughter was in the dream. I mean, literally, like, you know, some people can sound the same when they laugh, but, most of us have a signature laugh that is much like a thumbprint, you know? Um, and I think it's like a checkpoint. See, I don't know what all my dreams mean. I just know that I be having them, you know? I interpret them to the best of my ability, but they have layers, just like anything else. And sometimes I don't catch on to those layers until much later. So when I dreamt of you, I didn't see your face. I had to go see your face just to make sure I did see your face. But your laughter, it's a checkpoint. We're here. We're now at this, whatever this is, whatever this dream was about, we're at that point. It may not have happened yet, but I think that's what it means. I mean, that's kind of what the Cat Williams thing was like. Nothing really major happened for me here physically. Doesn't mean anything didn't happen spiritually or behind the scenes and around other people that I don't know about. But the Cat Williams thing is like, it's like checkpoint. Checkpoint to what? I'm not sure. My own spiritual growth, my transformations. Oh yeah. Okay. I know, you're about 30 minutes late. My bad. I didn't want to get up yet. Anyway, so, dang, I forgot. Oh, no, I didn't forget. So when I have things like coming in my algorithm where, like, the name of the video is like the very last thing I watched on YouTube type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the other day, I watched The Water Boy, a few clips from The Water Boy, okay? And then the very next day, the title is a quote from The Water Boy, shit like that. Oh, what I wanted to address is the fact that I've had like significant growth very rapidly. What some people, you have been tailoring your whole life. You've been, um, you've been, reading spiritual things for your whole life. You've been, and it's not like I haven't been, because I'm showing you now what it was that I was doing, even though I was going through all these trials and tribulations and poor behavior. Excuse me. So it is true. There's someone, you must have just been a bad person. Now you're trying to change your image. You're allowed to do that. At any point in time, you can, as long as it wasn't like, well, not even if it was something, you could be a murderer and have thought of killing people your whole life and then turn around and not be a murderer and not kill anyone else. And you're allowed to redeem oneself as long as you take the consequences for your actions and the accountability, right? So one of the things that was accountability for me was the fact that I posted and am very open and honest publicly about having herpes, because the scenarios, like when I go back and I think about that, what I said, and I really reflect on that guy, there's a guy that I'm thinking of that has been brought up and things like that. When I think back on that, it was almost a very similar situation. I just moved differently. Like I was truly not in a pure space when I moved, but it was still a similar situation. That summer is the same summer that I was assaulted using drugs, and when I finally got to him, I had now found out I was pregnant and abandoned. So it's always the same scenario. It's just how my intentions when I come into the scenario, which are different every time. And we're fighting, we're freezing, we're fawning, we're flighting. It just looks different based on the threat, you know? So you're allowed to change at any point. When I said there was a comment that was mentioned, and I did say this, I said that I make money in my sleep. When I made that comment, I wasn't speaking towards any tarot readers. But this is during the time when I realized that some were talking about me. But I was just one of them fucking, when you look down in the comments of readers and they have like 50 yes, this is not da, 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 blah blah blah. Like you'll see sometimes where there's like a few people where they'll make like 10, 20 comments on one video, right? As they're watching, where they're responding as if they're in a chat. At that time, when I made that comment about making money in my sleep, I was just one of those people that be talking. I wasn't talking to anybody I wasn't talking to the readers. I was just leaving a comment. There was no reader or any person that I was in competition with in the spiritual community that I knew of. I was speaking about this lady. Okay, so the man of the hour had this lady that he was constantly comparing me to. And he was talking about how she was working. And at the time, I was making as much as she was. And I wasn't working. That was just my social security check. And the reason I have a social security check is because I was working when I was a kid. Like the stuff that I was working when I was a kid, and I still get disability because I still kept working even when I had disability. Like I do work. I haven't worked since 2020, and I probably will never work again, you know, or what I consider work. Like I've already said, like at some point I do plan on going back to school. I do plan on doing stuff, but whatever I plan on doing in life will never be like hard work. Not because I don't work hard. It's just whatever I choose will be easy to me. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll come easy to me. It'll be something that's all in a day's work. And it's like 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I didn't say that because I was talking to them or trying to shade them. That I was talking about a lady that I was constantly being compared to in the 3D. And I don't, to this day, I don't think I'm better than her or anything. I don't know her. I just know, like, okay, so she works and she makes money. Okay, I'm not working. I make the same amount of money, right? Like I make the same amount of money and I'm not working. Okay, so let me go to work. Now I'm better than her. You know, that stupid shit. But I wasn't really in competition because I didn't know her. I was just saying, like, why you keep comparing me to this lady? I Why you keep doing that? And it wasn't until maybe a couple weeks after that, when it just got really weird. It just got really weird. And it's been like that ever since. But at that time, I didn't know that was high priestess. He knew. I think he knew. But I did not know. And those things can happen so rapidly. I think that's what everybody's issue is. Like, hey, you did stuff. Yeah, I did do stuff, but some of that stuff is so old, has already been addressed, y'all are still living like I'm not allowed to change, or I'm not allowed to grow, or I'm not allowed to learn from my mistakes. Like, it's like, as you make a mistake, even if you make that mistake the same, 50 times, 100 times, when you finally get it, okay, when you finally get it and you move forward, you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to be deemed as someone, because it's all about in your effort and your intention to try to learn. And I'm definitely one of those people. I'm trying to learn. There's been a lot of differences in my life from uh, day one to today. You know what I'm saying? It's constant. Like, what you wanted me to do, what some of you want, and that's where these unrealistic expectations come from, right? You want me to have never made any mistakes and then deem myself a good person. And you're like, you made too many mistakes. You're not a good person. It's like, it depends. It depends. It depends on the intention as I was doing these things, which the intention a lot of the times wasn't anything. I was just in survival mode. I had a lot of triggers. I had a lot of things that I didn't understand. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, again, this isn't really geared towards tarot readers, because the people that fueled this and started this are really who need to know and who need to understand. I could care less about y'all's opinion, but I do like expanding on it. If it should be your opinion, I don't really know. I don't know you. I just know them. I know them. I know my mother's opinion. I know my sister's opinion. I know their opinion. I know my cousin's opinion. I know y'all's opinion. You shared it. Um, but that's all that I had to say today. It was quite a bit. Probably didn't really mean much to anybody, but okay. So I'm reading the chat real quick before I step out. Right. Hi. Hold on, just a second. If you want, there's another yellow box. If you don't want it to be scratched up, there's another yellow box in the closet up on the shelf. I'm sorry that he tore up your box. He keeps doing this to That's because he needs a new scratcher, I guess. Because he's not interested in that other one in your room, right? No, he played with it. So he played with it and then he still scratched up your box? Yeah. All right, we'll just have to find a fabric that's more like your box then. That means he likes that fabric better. Okay. Sorry. So I'm going through here and looking through comments really quick. Somebody said all I can see is those Eddie Murphy teeth, and I think that's hilarious. They're probably not still in here, but that's funny. I like my teeth too. Like it's funny that you said that because that's who I think of sometimes. Um, Happy birthday! Today is my birthday. Today, Clay Chafin asked how old I am. I'm 37. Oh, the Tesla guy is here. I have not yet. I know that's really, you know, I don't know what this I don't know what this is, okay? I don't know what it is uh about like like empresses can have kinks. Emperors can have kinks. It's just about how are you relieving those appropriately, right? So this man here, Tesla guy, he needs to learn the appropriate time and place for his fetishes. But I have no problem participating. Y'all have a good day.